Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We always appreciate your viewership each and every morning. Let's take a look at our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and a hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. High today, 77, and creeping back up there, getting a little bit warmer. Low's going to be actually 65. The water temperature ended the pier dropped 1 more degree this week. It's down to 71 now. It's been a roller coaster with that water temperature. Take a look at our river readings brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola Company. The Apalachicola at Bluntstown, we're looking at a 13-foot even, and it's starting to drop just a little bit, but still high now. But for the weekend, I think it's going to get on down. The Choctaw at Carabelle, 9.8, has gotten below 10 finally, and it's got a slow drop to it. So both rivers got a little bit of a drop to it, and it should be a pretty good weekend if it keeps on doing this. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Take a look at our tides. We've missed our chart. Today is April the 12th on Wednesday. How about those strong tides all week long? Looking at a low tide this morning, 145, and a high at 231. But look at the whole month of April. We had neap tides one whole week. This week, great tides. Next week, neap tides. And then it's a perfect pattern right there. So you just pick your week you want to take off and go fishing. We'll pick it with a tide chart. The wind now is still in double figures coming out of the east at about 15. All right, let's take a break. Come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to our regular once a month Florida Fish and Wildlife, Travis Bashford.
Good morning.
Glad to have you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Before we get into all the rules and regulations and all the business stuff, you got to go fishing with your dad the other day.
Sure
Let's talk about it.
We finally took a break from fighting crime and got out there and enjoyed a day on the water. And it was a beautiful day, and did the whole Spanish, and then, of course, sheep's head, red drum, black drum, sheep's head, and all in the pass. And had a really good day. It was really nice. We were hoping my uncle could come down, but he wasn't able to, so me and my dad went, and he caught a really nice fish.
Okay, and you sent some video, and I ran into Dad at Quanda's Pancake Days the other day, and he was talking about it. I'm so glad he brought this video, so we're going to see if we can get it going here. So y'all, here we go. Tell us about it.
Well, we just out there on the pass. That's the East Jetty. You see all the boats stacked around there, and you got some rollers coming in, but he hooked up this fish on a shrimp. We were sheep's head fishing, targeting sheep's head, and he's got that on a little 2500 with 15-pound leader.
Oh my goodness!
What we thought was a big redfish ended up being a really big black drum, and he fought that thing around the boat. I mean, that thing must have circled the boat 2-3 times, and
oh man,
you can see him boat up there on it. So that's really light tackle for a big fish.
That's our state attorney, Larry Bassford, out there relaxing, catching him some big fish.
I'm glad he took a break to go, because we had a good time. And, you know, the people around us were really considerate, too. As they saw that fish coming around, they backed off, because we had to kind of pull out from the rocks and maneuver a couple times, because he kept pulling in there. And we were able to get him up there at the boat. And he...
Let's see, we got him up at the boat, and then...
he was... There he is.
There we go, right here.
Yeah. So he was 36 inches long, and it felt like he was 26 inches
wide.
Whoa,
look at that.
It seemed like it. It was a toad. And then, you know, now when we go fishing, I got to worry about getting kids ready to school, to lunch, all that, or getting their lunch, making sure they've got all their stuff. So, you know what we forgot when we got up there by the boat? We didn't have a net.
Oh, no.
So then we had to manhandle him and get him in there. But we released that fish, and he swam off, and it was really great day out there on the water. So,
you know, we were talking about that. That pass is a great location fish. But I wouldn't advise a rookie to go out there right away, because it can be treacherous. The tides are coming in. You see it on a regular basis.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it can get rough, and that tide was ripping that day.
Yeah.
So you got incoming tide or an outgoing tide, and then you got seas coming in. It can always get a little Mowgli out there.
I'm always fascinated at the people when you can tell right away if they fished there before.
Oh yeah.
Because you can see exactly what the boat's doing, and I know And I know what concerns me, and it's going to be even more so for y'all, these rental pontoon boats, when they get out there and get caught up in it and all.
You're right, and that's always a concern. As summertime gets closer, you're more and more
of that.
people on the water. So.
Well, I know your dad had a good time, didn't he?
He did. We had a great time, absolutely.
And that's what we're talking about, you know, just get away from work and every now and then just go fishing, get outdoors and go fishing and all. So I'm particularly got to go.
Yep, I'm glad he did too, because we always get so busy doing stuff. It's good to take time and go out there and enjoy a day. So
that's good.
But yeah, it's been great. Fishing's been really good. I know you talk about the water fluctuating, but it's warmed up enough now. We got consistent flow of Spanish pompano. I mean, all the stuff in the pass are rocking and rolling. They're catching kingfish. So it's getting really busy. We've been really busy on the water. I'll tell you. Let's see, last week, Good Friday, you know how pretty that weather was?
Yes.
It was almost like a summer afternoon out there. There were so many people out on the water enjoying the weather and getting their boats out and running them. So it's getting really busy. Just want everyone to be careful out there.
Yeah, what a beautiful day it was, that Good Friday, because that's when Chip and I got to catch some pompano, and it was all up and down. Then Saturday and Sunday, we sort of got a little rain and all, but
yeah,
boy, if you took advantage of Friday, that was the right thing to do.
It was pretty. It was pretty, so. But yeah, it's been going really good. And one thing I want to talk about that also kind of ties into what Coach used to do at Mosley there with the outdoor ed program is we've got a thing going on, and I brought this little flyer in. It's called Wild Quest, or Florida Wild Quest 2023. You can go to myfwc.com and search that. But what it is, it's like a scavenger hunt throughout the state at a lot of FWC's wildlife management areas. And it's a cool thing. There's a Wild Quest, and then there's a Wild Quest Junior for kids, like under 9. And all you do is you basically, you can scan this code on the back, or you can go online and you get this app called Goose Chase. And basically you go to different management areas, and it has you take pictures or video of certain things, like take a picture of this river, take a picture of this animal, this flower, this tree, whatever it is. And it's just a great way to get people outside.
Yes.
And it's springtime, everything's green, everything's blooming, and it's a really cool thing. And then you can win prizes too, and you can go online, look at everything. They've got some really nice binoculars you can win. But I just want to let everyone know about that. You know, it's one thing that, you know, I know you saw it in school.
Yeah.
I see it when we go and do these outreaches at schools. You know, we're so blessed that we were grown. You know, we were raised, hey, to grow up outside, fish, hunt, just taking a walk in the woods.
Exactly. We talk about that a lot, Travis. I'm so glad the state is doing that. They've worked on that before, and that's what we started years ago. What we did on that back, what we call it back 40.
Yeah.
We put different tracks, and then different.
Yes.
I put a plant, what kind of plant? They'd go around during the class period, and run back there and take pictures of. That is a great idea, like scavenger hunt for juniors and for grown-ups.
Exactly, and the kids love that stuff. It gives them something to do, something to find. Like you say, you got tracks and different plants. It helps them ID stuff, and it's a really good thing. I mean, so if you've got a kid, whether you're a grandparent, a parent, you want to take them out there, it's a really cool thing. And just the management areas real quick, Apalachicola, WEA in Gulf County, Appalachia up in Jackson, and then Apalachicola and Boxar and Franklin, and then Joe Budd over in Gadsden, Leon area.
That's some good ones right there.
Yes, sir.
I'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here, Travis, we're talking about all kind of interesting stuff. Let's just continue that for a second, talking about how you get to visit some schools and all.
Yes, sir.
And you see a lot of lack of participation in outdoors, even at elementary. Are you seeing that?
We do, and that's why this thing's is a good program. But like the outdoor ed program was so important for kids because we take it for granted. Like I said, at least for me growing up, that all kids get exposed to the outdoors.
Yeah.
And you saw it. So many people don't. I remember you take people on their fishing trip as a field trip, and sometimes that was the first time they had been fishing late in high school.
Yeah.
So we talk about it all the time. We want to pass down these traditions and everything to the next generation because it's really important. And I'll tell you this, just personally, when I was a teenager coming up, by fishing and hunting and doing that, it keeps you out of a lot of trouble. Sometimes. Well, if you don't get in trouble with us, but it keeps you out of other trouble.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It gives you something to do. It's productive, and anyways, it's really important. And we do see that in schools.
And you've seen that a lot. I'm glad y'all are getting out around the schools and seeing that. But you get some testimonials of some of our country schools, and you think a class of 25. How many want to go hunt? Hardly any.
Yeah, like maybe one or two hunt out of that many.
So we're going to keep working on that. All right, let's move along. What you got?
Absolutely. So we always have a bunch of stuff with new regulations and things we want to get out to you guys. One thing that we wanted to pass along is about recreational blue crab traps.
Okay.
And they made a change. It was actually voted in the commission meeting recently, and the rule went into effect March 1st. We've got a few pictures here we want to show you guys, but what we want to tell you about these recreational blue crab traps, you can have 5 per person, and there's different regulations on that, but they made a change where they want this bycatch reduction device put in, and one of the main reasons they want it put in is to protect the diamondback terrapin. Now, it's a turtle. There's a picture of one right there. It's basically a conservation measure, and it's supposed to reduce the accidental trapping of terrapins. And these turtles they're not very common in Northwest Florida, but we have a whole non-game section that focuses on their conservation efforts. Mm-hmm. And the good thing about these traps or the good thing about the bycatch reduction is they're going to have some at different locations, and we'll put the number up. I'll get Jeff to put this number up where you can contact marine@myfwc.com, and you can go pick up your bycatch reduction device. You attach it to your recreational blue crab trap, and it's supposed to help these turtles out. And I'll tell you this personally, when we are checking recreational and commercial crab traps, there's a lot of different things that get into crab traps that they're not intended to. So anytime we can reduce the bycatch or the accidental catch of a species getting in there, it's a good thing.
That's a good point.
We've had all kinds of stuff get in there, from otters to turtles to all kinds of stuff, going in there trying to get the bait, trying to get the crabs, then they get stuck in there. So anyways, this is a new rule. It went into effect March 1st. And you can go to myfwc.com and click on your blue crab traps for more information. But we'll put the number on there if you want to get a bycatch reduction device. Okay. And it shows you exactly, it's the exact one you need. It shows you how to attach it to your recreational trap.
Yeah, and I know some of the tackle stores are carrying those now, and just run down there and pick. I know Blue Water Outriggers has some. Here's another picture. This one, is it one trapped in it right here?
Yep, this was actually Officer Dennis Palmer's on patrol in Crooked Island Sound. I think this was a couple years ago. And that was a crab trap, and as you see, you got some escape rings, but it didn't have this new bycatch reduction, and that's a diamondback terrapin that got trapped in there. And of course, they get in, can't get out. So we want to reduce the mortality of them and just try to help that species. It's a really, really cool turtle, but there's other things that get in there that aren't intended to. They want them to catch crabs. Now, sometimes you're going to have some juvenile fish get in there. That's part of it. But anyways, good thing they put out, and it is required as of March 1st if you're going to have recreational blue crab traps. So just wanted to get that information out. So thanks for showing those pictures. And then I've got some cases in the month, but we can talk about some more fishing stuff, or what you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about the fishing right now. We'll get to the case of the month. It's an interesting one after this break and all. But on the fishing, you see a lot of inshore in the bays. Everybody doing catching bass, catching redfish and flounder now. Or?
Yeah, they are. And the other night I was out and I saw some people already floundering.
Oh, okay.
Trying to gig, and a little early for that, but they were trying. We are seeing some flounder show up.
Yeah.
But that spring run of pompano, Spanish, excuse me, and kings, and then a few cobia getting caught. That seems to be the main thing. And we just had a really strong run of Spanish this year. They came in really strong.
It has been that way, and so you have been some cobia out there caught? So
a handful.
Just a handful.
It's not like it used to be, it seems like, but they are catching a handful.
And it looks like now, getting back to the Spanish in the bay, it looks like now people are sort of getting in the idea of making that big circle all together now. So they used to be bad about cutting and all, but I think eventually, and we felt like this several years back, it was a problem, but it's better now, isn't it?
It seems like they're having a little more courtesy.
Yeah, and, it seems like it.
It's one of those things to where I've seen people get pretty aggravated out there with some other people. If you see someone trolling, just try to keep your distance. So But yeah, in between Deepwater Point, Courtney Point, Davis Point, Redfish Point, they've been having a lot of success.
They've been doing real well.
Yes, sir.
Have y'all run across much bridge fishermen? How have they been doing?
They're out there. They're I mean, Hathaway, DuPont, it's a consistent thing, and they are catching some reds there. But yeah, I mean, mainly people fishing the bay, trout fishermen doing pretty good. Spanish, and then of course the pass, and then you have had some people going offshore with triggerfish opening.
Yeah.
That's another thing we were going to talk about too, is that Fish Rules app. I know you've talked about it. It's a great app. It goes off your GPS location. We recommend it. We had some guys the other day that, another great thing about Fish Rules, it actually has some really good descriptors of species identification.
Yeah.
And I stopped some gentlemen the other day from Georgia, and they had mistaken some greater amberjack for banded rudderfish.
Oh, okay.
And there's a pretty stark difference there in the regulation. Greater amberjack is closed to harvest 34 inches at the fork, banded rudderfish 14 to 22. No closed harvest, you can have 5. So was able to educate those guys with a warning, but I also showed them the app and said, hey, you can identify it by different ways, looking at the relation to the dorsal fin to the anal fin. You can count gill rakers, you can count spines on that initial dorsal fin, and there's also a thing on the jaw. All that stuff's on Fish Rules. So if you're going to be targeting a certain species, even if you're going way offshore and you're going to lose service, take some screenshots of those regulations.
Good point.
And it's just, it is a really good app. We recommend it. The Fish Hunt Florida app and my FWC is really good, but the actual identification of the pictures to me seem a little, because they actually have actual fish, people holding, fish fresh out of the water, fish that have been, out for a while on that app. So it's really good.
Okay, all right. Let's take a final break. We'll come back with our case of the month. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at our time 5:08 to 7:08 this morning, and this afternoon 5:38 to 7:38. We always enjoy and we're just amazed sometimes at these cases of the month. So Travis, let's go with it.
We've got a couple really good ones here. I want to start off with, excuse me, I'm just going to read the press release for this one, then I'll give you the little story behind it. Excuse me. But this case was made by Officer Taylor Tyson over in Walton County.
Yeah, the Tyson family. I know Taylor.
And he did a really good job. So I'm going to read this brief little press release we have, and then I'll give you what Taylor was able to do. So following an investigation that began November 28, 2022, continued through February 2023, FWC has filed charges against Mr. Dustin Wayne Bryant of Freeport for multiple hunting and firearm violations. So Officer Tyson received a complaint from a property owner regarding an individual that was hunting close to their property bordering the Eglin Reservation, which is a vast amount of land over there, over 200,000 acres. The complainant provided trail cam footage that captured several photos of a man in camouflage carrying a firearm who FWC officers later identified as Mr. Bryant. The investigation revealed that his hunting privileges were suspended as a result of night hunting charges from a prior case, and he was also the subject of a court order prohibiting the possession of a firearm. The investigation also uncovered that Bryant was not permitted to access Eglin. So he did a really good job. This particular person has not really been responding to training or coaching or whatever you want to call it. He's had a lot of violations with FWC. His hunting privileges were revoked.
Whoa!
So if you hunt or fish on a suspended or revoked license, it's actually criminal right off the bat.
Wow!
Because he's had so many violations with FWC that they've revoked his privileges. Well, he was doing it again. He's in an area he shouldn't be. He couldn't possess a firearm, so they charged him again, hunting while, license suspended or revoked, violation of a domestic violence injunction, and then also some violations with Eglin having the permit there. So great job by Officer Tyson. He did a lot of legwork on this, investigative work, got a warrant for the arrest, and was able to get the guy arrested on these charges. So,
good for him. That's Washington County, Hiram Tyson, that family up there. I know good folks right there. Thank you, officer.
Yeah, he did a great job, and
they have this one here.
And then we got one more here. This is Officer Glover. This is over there a little east of Tallahassee, but this is one that kind of exciting in the fact that he was working some turkey bait sites. And he was actually out there in the afternoon, and he heard some gunshots. This is only about 50 or 60 yards from him. Now, he's just slipping around the woods. That's pretty close. He was able to sneak up behind the hunter, and the guy had his back to him, and he was able to see, hey, he's standing right in a bunch of bait. And he had wheat seed and other stuff everywhere. First, and then the officer, identified himself, and the guy lied to him, and then eventually, after an interview, he admitted, hey, I shot a hen turkey. So instead of shooting a gobbler, he shot a hen out of the air, and he was charged with harvesting hen turkey in the closed season, and then charged with taking wild turkey within 100 yards of a feeding station where feed is present. So good job by Officer Glover over there as well.
There it is, got a hen.
With the hen right there.
Oh, my goodness.
And again, you know, we talk about these turkey cases. I mean, if you're an ethical turkey hunter, that aggravates you because we know we can't harvest hens there on private property. So good job by those two guys. And I know hunting season's winding up, but wanted to share those cases. And back to the one with Officer Taylor Tyson there, that's just another good example of working with a complainant, using the trail camera, having that relationship, and then catching the guy. You know, which that takes time. Sometimes it's coming out on your time off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a call in the middle of the night, and our officers go out there and make these cases. And good job by both officers though there.
And that's the thing about it. It's hours and days and weeks and all, and working a case like that.
It is. It is. That was a lot of work, and it's good to finally catch them. We don't always catch them, but you know, when we work with complainants and then we're out there, a lot of people don't think. They're like, well, they won't be out there in the afternoon. They won't be out there during the week. If you're hunting turkeys over bait, or if you're trespassing or whatever, we're out there. We're going to try to hold you accountable, and because you're taking resources away from the people trying to do it legally.
Yeah, and that's the Tyson from Holmes County, Bonifay, not Washington County. So we appreciate everything that y'all do, really do, and that's in the woods and on the water. And we always talk about taking care of our environment, taking care of our game and fish, and most people do. You see, most people do the best.
They do.
Then you get these outlaws, and we gotta cooperate. And when we see something, we got to say something. You hear some gunshots, you know it's not supposed to be there. Do like this guy did and call the law. And we got to do that.
That's right. We always put that up there for wildlife alert. And
these trail cameras have been a blessing having in solving cases.
They help us out.
Yeah,
they do. And they're really good for the hunters to try to find the game, but they also help us out on the enforcement side.
Okay, and freshwater, got about 30 seconds. Freshwater, everything going good in freshwater?
Everything's going good. Some fish are going on the bed. I know this spring a lot of people had a lot of success bass fishing all across the region, really. So yeah, freshwater's going good too, and looking forward to boating season and all. We're going to try to have some other officers come on here talk about that and the importance of boating safety and.
Hey, we got to get you a better half. Got to get in the cold on here soon.
Right, she knows a lot more about it than I do, so we'll get her on here talking about that stuff.
Yeah, because he's an award winner now.
That's right.
Okay, thank you, Travis. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate what you do. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate your viewership. Always do something good for someone else today, and take care of outdoors and enjoy it. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.